Hola, everyone, and thank you for joining me. Welcome to everyone who's here. My name is Kristina Demova. I'm originally from Bulgaria, and I am now working at Aston University. I'm representing the university, and I'm supporting our Spanish prospective students with their applications to Aston. Thank you again very much for joining me today. What I've got for you is a presentation on what we deliver at Aston in terms of courses, the learning style that we are delivering to our students. I would give you some pictures on the facilities that we've got available around our campus, the support that's available to students. I would run through the entry criteria for Spanish students, and then I would also mention the scholarships that we've got available. And starting with the course portfolio that we've got, and we have a very diverse course portfolio. As you can see, I'm not going to go into a lot of details on all of the subjects, but the most important thing that I wanted to mention is that our courses are very practical, very hands-on learning style we have. And just to give you an example, with our College of Engineering and Physical Science, for example, mechanical engineering course, students would be building a car and a wind turbine in their first year. Students in the College of Health and Life Sciences, let's take neuroscience, for example, they would be having 70 hours in the first year in the labs. And by the end of the second year, they would probably have more lab hours than students who are studying in Oxford and Cambridge. So very practical. And because I was an Aston student myself, I did my human resources management degree there a few years ago. I'm not going to mention how many exactly. In the College of Business and Social Sciences, I wanted to give you an example of what I did when I was a student there. What you're seeing is a picture of myself and 4 other students that I've worked with in a group project when we were in our second year in the business college, and all of us were doing different business degrees. But all of us had this one module, which was the same for everyone in the business courses. And what we had to do was work in a team, and throughout the year, we had time to set up a company from scratch. So we had to do all sorts of research around where we could potentially set up our company. And we set up a car manufacturing company. And we've decided to build it in the Czech Republic because we felt like it was cheaper to make it there, for example. We had to come up with decisions on how many employees we're going to hire. We had to decide how much we're going to pay them and how much we're going to charge for our products. And all this data we had to insert in a software, a simulation software that the university pays for, so that students can see how their data might perform in a real world environment. And what we are doing, we are competing with other teams, other students who are also working on the same group project. So it's possible to see how your product would perform in a real business-like environment. So it was a very interesting project because you had to do all this research about what could potentially make your business successful. There was a variety of different assessments we had to do. So it was a business plan, what we had to create. We had to also present our project in front of a panel, which was consisting of real employers, actually. And we had to do, yes, a lot of different variety of assessments. So it's not only exams that students would be doing with us. Depending on the course, assessments would vary. And I wanted to mention something about our campus. If you've been to Birmingham, you might have actually been on the Aston University campus. We are based in the UK, as you know, and the campus is all in one place. Aston is a campus university, which means everything is in one place. And you can see on the right side of the screen, this is what the campus looks like. So all the accommodation, sports facilities, library, the main building, where all the teaching happens. This is all located within 5-minute walking distance. And this campus is located in the city center of Birmingham. And you can see that on the bottom left side of the screen. Birmingham, I have a bit more information about Birmingham as a whole at the end, but everything from the campus is only 10 minutes from the city center. And that means all the shopping, all the entertainment, it's in a very close proximity to the Aston students who are living on campus. And this is one of the reasons I actually chose Aston. I wanted to feel like everything's close to me, everything is at the palm of my hand. I originally come from a very small city in Bulgaria, so I wanted to make sure that I'm very close to anything that the big city of Birmingham has to offer. And just to show you, one thing to mention, despite the fact that we are in the city center, that shouldn't put you off if you enjoy green space, because on the campus there is actually a lot of green area that you can enjoy. You can see that the way that architecture was built is so that you can gain some privacy. You can enjoy the sunshine when we have it in Britain. I'm sure you've heard a lot of things about the temperamental weather, but I'm actually quite happy to say that we've got a lot of sunny days in Birmingham, and you can enjoy your time outside of the bus of the city. And with regards to what the campus actually looks like, I've chosen a selection of images here. You can see at the bottom left corner, that's how our Students' Union looks like. And we won an award for that building last year for an inspiring building of the year. It was only open in 2019. It has a dance hall studio, it has a kitchen, and these facilities could be used by our students at any time. If they are actually a part of a society, they can book these spaces for certain periods of time, and they can enjoy them in smaller groups for their own activity if they wish. And on the bottom right area, this is what our library looks like. You can see that it's very modern, very colorful, encouraging creativity. Very well equipped library with a lot of resources that students can also access outside of the campus online. And we do refurbishing every 2 to 3 years. We want to make sure that the space is clean, nice and fresh for students to enjoy. And there are also personal laptops that students can borrow within the premises of the library. So if they live outside of campus, they don't need to carry their laptops every single day if they want to work in the library. At the very top, you can see some images from our sports center. Like very, very well equipped, again, more than 100 gym stations. Students interested in sports would really enjoy the swimming pool. We have fields where they can play basketball, football, and a lot of other different sports. And we have a grocery shop on campus, which provides all the essentials you may need. But if you do want to enjoy some particular cultural foods, you can actually walk to the nearby bigger shops where you can gain a bit more variety in the produce. And more about Birmingham, please let me know in the Q&A chat box if you've been to Birmingham before. Feel free to ask any questions that you may have throughout the presentation. I'll be more than happy to answer them live at the end. And Birmingham, it's a very multicultural city. If you've been, you would know. It's the second largest city in the UK, outside of London, and about 40% of the population there is very young. It's under 25 because we have 5 universities in Birmingham, and students who would enjoy shopping, they would be glad to know we have around 300 shops in close proximity to the campus. Students interested in culture would be glad to know we've got the largest public library in Europe that again opened quite recently. And they are in a very close proximity to 3 of the main transport stations in the city. So if they enjoy traveling, once this becomes a realistic concept again, they will have a very easy access to the rest of the UK. You can get to London, Manchester, Liverpool, the bigger cities within an hour and a half. You can also get to the either side of the coast, west, east, and south, within about 3 hours. So very easy access if they wish to experience the outskirts of Birmingham as well. And am I missing something? Sports. If you're big on sports, you would be interested to know that Birmingham is home of 2 football teams. One of them is in the Premiership, which I'm told is a big thing. I'm not a big fan, so I don't really know. But there is the Aston Villa football stadium, just about 30 minutes away from campus, so students can watch some big teams playing there. And that's it about Birmingham. I can talk about Birmingham all day. I really enjoy living there. So let me know if you want to know a bit more in the Q&A chat. These are images of the students' halls. We do have accommodation on campus. Students who wish to stay on campus can take advantage of the ensuite rooms we've got available. All of the rooms on campus are ensuite. That means you are going to have your own bathroom and toilet, and it's only the kitchen that you need to share with the other students. Bills are included in the rent. So once you pay your rent, which is about £140 per week, you don't need to worry about any extra charges for electricity, water, or Wi-Fi. It's only laundry you need to look after. And you can see, again, very modern facilities. I would be very interested to know what you think of the pricing. I'm told that it's actually quite good value for money, given that you are very close to the city center. You don't need to travel to your teaching facilities or the library or sports. So it's really only catering that you need to look after, and laundry. And on the top, you can see some of the common spaces that students can enjoy for entertainment if they've got guests visiting, some pool tables and tennis table. And that's it about accommodation. Again, let me know if you want to know more. Student support, we've got a lot of professional student support. I actually didn't know a lot about these services before I came to Aston. And in time, I got to speak to pretty much every single one of them. So the hub is a central service. It's the first point of contact if students ever need anything. And if they don't know who to turn to, they go to the hub. They have an area on the main building where students can go. They can ask whatever question they may have, and they would put them in the right direction for someone to help them further. The international student advisors, these are immigration experts. So from this year onwards, Spanish students would need to apply for a visa, most likely. So we have immigration experts who can help you with the process. For you, it might be a complicated process, is something that not a lot of people that you may know have dealt with. So there is support on campus, free of charge. You don't need to pay anything for it, and you can ask the colleagues there. A personal tutor, that is actually an academic member of staff, most likely someone who is teaching on your program that you've chosen, and they would be obliged to meet you at least twice per year. That's essentially at least once every term. And that is done just to make sure that you're doing well with your studies and you're feeling well in terms of your personal life as well. Some students are struggling in terms of the social aspect of studying abroad. So we want to make sure that there is someone there who is bound to meet you at least twice a year to make sure that you're doing well. And if you do need support, to put you in the right direction. We have a security team on campus who is there 24/7. We also have an app called the Safe Zone app that students can download. And if they do need any help, they can use the app and someone would pop up within seconds. The enabling team is a team who is looking after students who might have learning differences. So you are supported throughout your time there. The counseling and mental well-being team is actually consisting of experts in mental well-being. So sometimes you might have conditions like, depression, nostalgia, anxiety, and these are completely normal. So if you do need support with those, you can turn to those experts. The Learning and Development Center is supporting students with academic learning. So if you need extra maths tutorials, if that's required for your course, you can turn to them and they can organize these for you. The careers and placements team is the one that I enjoy talking about the most. I've used them quite often because one of the reasons I joined Aston was their placement year. And I can talk about the placement year in a few moments, but essentially it's an opportunity for students to gain work experience while still at university. So the careers and placements team, they organize employment fairs where you would be able to meet employers on campus. They can help you with the creation of your CV. They can give you example interviews so that you know what questions are being asked at interviews and maybe how to best answer them to find a job quicker. They also maintain a platform, web platform, where they upload all the job opportunities that they are aware of, which are based locally, but also outside of the UK, so that students are able to see the names of the employers, the salary that they're likely to get paid for that job, the job description, the application process. So it's a very well-maintained resource for the students. Last but not least, something that we've developed recently, self-isolation support. And these are volunteers, students, and members of staff who can help students with delivering produce, groceries, if they ever need the help. But if you have been in the UK before, you would know that a lot of shops actually have online shopping areas, and students can purchase those, and these get delivered to the accommodation. And I wanted to talk a bit more about the placement year as one of the main reasons I chose Aston. And the placement year allows students to extend their undergraduate course, and from it becoming from 3-year bachelor course up to 4 years bachelor course. And the way that it usually works is students study on campus for 2 years. That's the case with Aston. They study on campus for 2 years, and then they have an opportunity to go outside of the campus for 1 year, in which 1 year they can either work in industry with relation to their course or study abroad and experience a different education system. That 1 year is done, and then they come back on campus to do their final year. So that's how a 4-year sandwich course works. You might have heard of the word sandwich course, you might have heard of the word placement, and this is what we mean by this. And Aston was the first university to incorporate the placement year into the curriculum. So they have more than 50 years of experience in placing students on a placement. And these are just some of the names that students end up working in during their placement. And these are not just a bunch of names we've put on a slide. I can actually also tell you a bit more about my personal experience with it. I missed a slide here. I actually had a few pictures from my placement with Airbus. You might have heard of the aircraft manufacturer. They do commercial aircraft. So I was actually placed in the UK. And I was working in the employment marketing department. And I studied human resources management, so that was directly linked to the course that I studied. And I've enjoyed working there because I got to experience different fields of HR. Let's be honest, when I was 18, I didn't really know what I wanted to do after I graduated. So that placement year was really beneficial for me to gain exposure to those fields. So that I have a better idea of what I don't like and what I do like. And I would love to tell you a bit more about the projects that I was working on, but I'm not sure whether we're going to have enough time. But feel free to let me know in the questions and answer chat if you do want to know a bit more, and I can maybe come back to it later when we have the live Q&A. And if students are doing a work placement, the main benefit is also one of the main benefits is also that it's paid. The employers in the UK pay around £16,000 per year for a placement student. And am I missing something? No, that's it. And if students don't want to work during their placement, if they wish to study abroad, that is an opportunity. And these are just some of the partners that we have around the world. Aston has more than 130 partners, so there are many of them. I would really encourage you to go and check them out. In Spain, in particular, we have 10. So these are just a selection of them, but actually a lot of students who are coming from a particular country, they actually want to go to a third country. The Singaporean university is quite popular nowadays because it's ranked 11th in the world, which is quite an achievement, and we're really happy to work with them. And the university that students can go to, it really depends on the course that they're doing. So certain partnerships might be university-wide, which means that any student or any program can do an exchange with them. Some of them might partner only with particular college. So if students are studying in the College of Business, they might get like a more limited selection. But it is up to the course. Again, I would encourage you to check our partnerships webpage. In terms of entry requirements, if by now you're thinking of applying to Aston already, with English, we would normally ask for an IELTS. We also accept TOEFL, Pearson, a variety of different English tests. So if you have an alternative one, let me know in the chat and I'll let you know whether we accept it. IELTS, the IELTS requirement varies between 6 to 7, depending on which course you're applying for. If you're applying for the College of Business, most likely you will be asked for 6.5. If you're applying for social sciences or engineering course, most likely you would be asked for 6.0. But there are also requirements for the individual components. Again, let me know if you already know which course you want to apply for, and I can let you know which IELTS you would need. In terms of the Título de Bachiller, which I assume the majority of you would be having by the time you graduate and get to apply, we would ask for around 7.6. The majority of the courses will be asking for 7.6. The courses in the health sciences, they would be on the higher end. We would most likely be asking for 8, maybe 8.4. Medicine would be asking for 8.6. Courses at the engineering college, they're more likely to be a bit more on the lower end. So engineering courses, most likely you would be asked for 7.2, 6.8. And if we do have any postgraduate students who already have their undergraduate degree here, I've also listed the entry criteria for them there. But I understand that the majority of you are interested in a bachelor course, an undergraduate. And I've highlighted in pink some of the criteria because that kind of leads nicely on to my next slide. Students who have 8 and above, even if we do ask for 7.6 for your course to enter, if you actually have a higher grade, you would be classed for a scholarship. This is an automatic scholarship that we award students with high grades, and the lower mark that we ask for is 8. So students with the equivalent of ABB, which is 8, we would give you £2,000 scholarship. And students who are getting 8.4, 8.6 would be eligible for 5,000 scholarship. And the way that it works, this one is the bottom scholarship that I've listed here. It is automatic. You apply for a course at Aston. Once you get your grades, you let us know, and we tell you how much you had. And that is applicable to all courses apart from the medicine course. We also have 2 more awards for students who met their entry criteria but didn't achieve that Global Excellence Scholarship. If you still want to be classed for some sort of scholarship, you can apply for the Global Ambassador Scholarship and for the Vice Chancellor International Scholarship. These are still open if you want to join us in September 2021. If you are thinking of applying next year, the scholarships that we're going to have available for next year are probably going to be released around October time. But they're most likely going to be similar to the packages that you're seeing at the moment on your screen. And if I managed to confuse you with all this information that I've been through so far. I hope I didn't. I actually compiled a summary slide of why you should be considering Aston as one of your choices if you're interested in studying in the UK. And these are really the reasons that I chose Aston for. And it was the career opportunities. Because of the placement year, I wanted to gain some extra work experience before I even graduated, because I wanted to make sure that I have a job after I graduated. The location was very attractive to me because I really enjoy traveling, and Birmingham is such a central location to the UK. And for the 10 years that I've lived in Birmingham, I've been to either side of the coast, to almost all of the major cities. I've enjoyed some of the national parks that are nearby. And because it has its own airport, the Birmingham International Airport, I have direct flights to my home country, Bulgaria. We've got more than 100 direct destination spots from Birmingham. And because it's a campus university where everything in the campus is very close together, and because it's in the city center, I had a very close proximity for the entertainment, the shopping areas, which was also very important for me for an international student. And the welcoming environment was something that was really beneficial. My mother is actually really kind of mad that I never cried during my time at university. I didn't feel nostalgia just because there was so much for me to experience. There were so many opportunities for me to engage with different cultures, students from all sorts of backgrounds. The course that I did was interesting, so I was really putting my focus onto my studies and enriching my social life. So it's not like I was really sad about home, but of course, you do enjoy going home after a few weeks or months. And then one thing that I didn't realize how important it is up until the time I actually went to Aston and I got to speak to all those professional student support services. Some students do feel the nostalgia, and it's important to know that it is normal, and there would be someone there that is an expert in these kind of states and can guide you through how to best overcome this. And again, if you do need academic support, because the education system was quite different to what we've got back in Bulgaria, there are services that can help you with the academic support as well. So with this, I would conclude my presentation on Aston. I hope that it was interesting, informative, enjoyable, and I would be happy to answer any questions that you might have in the next 20 minutes. And I'm not sure whether my colleagues would assist me with reading out the questions, or should I be looking at the chat? I'm not sure. So feel free to unmute yourself and pop back into the conversation. I personally can't see any questions in the Q&A box. I can't see anything in the chat. And of course, if you don't have any questions, that means that I've covered everything. Everything is clear, and you will be more than welcome to go and enjoy the next session, which I believe is in about half an hour. But yes, please do pop in your questions. I would wait another 5-10 minutes. Because we do have time, maybe I can use it to elaborate on some of my experience during my work placement. That seems to be the topic of largest interest during talks that I've delivered before. And I should probably mention that there were probably 3 main projects that I participated in that really developed some of the skills that I've already had and managed to expand my horizons. First one that I worked on, and it was a large part of my role in general, because we had to recruit employees. I had to draft advertisements for employer directories. So I had to come up with ideas of the images that we're going to use, what we would actually include in the advertisement. So that kind of made me to improve my grammar, because my English, as I've mentioned, it was good. Like my listening, my writing skills were good, but I was really shy to speak. And that year really helped me with improving my grammar and giving me more opportunities to talk with British speakers. And these employer directories, they were books essentially that were delivered at universities. So students at universities were able to read our profile and decide whether they want to apply to Airbus or not. So I was drafting those articles. They were getting proofread by my manager, and that was a very interesting part of my role. And another project that I was involved with, that was a video production. I had to come up with ideas of 2 different videos that we were going to use in order to encourage mobility of staff between offices in Spain, Germany, France, and the UK. So I had to work with a video production company to record some of the facilities in the UK branches at Airbus, interview some of the people that were working there, and altogether it was like maybe 10 minutes overall kind of video material, but it learned me a lot of things on time management and how to negotiate with people when they want to speak more than they are allowed to. And again, a very interesting project that took maybe about a whole week to record altogether. And to this date, I'm still fascinated with video production, even though I haven't done any degree in video production. And the last project that I wanted to mention was an air show. It was called the Farnborough Air Show. If you're interested in airplanes, you might have heard of it. And it's essentially an exhibition of aircraft of all sorts. It's not only commercial, it's also helicopters, some satellites, some military aircraft as well. And it's a huge event. It happens every 2 years in the UK, and it attracts around 350,000 people. So it's a wonderful opportunity for us to be there as well, because we can use it to recruit people. And the actual organization of the event took a lot of time, probably a whole year. I didn't organize it, but I was on the project team. So I got to see other colleagues who are very experienced in organizing events like this before. I did participate in some of the tasks, but I think it was very useful to see what their expertise is in and how are they managing the tasks. And to this date, I still use a similar version of the action tracker that I got shown, with the activity, who is the action leader, what's the deadline. So again, some improvements on my time management. And overall, as an experience, I would say it was very useful, because whilst you're at uni, you do group projects and you work in teams, but I guess you don't realize how important it is to contribute to a project until you actually start working and you realize that people are paying you to do something and that something actually does matter and it does create a difference. And overall, the main thing that I've learned from the work placement, I would say, is probably the responsibility aspect of it. That you need to be on time, you need to commit, you need to do your work so that the end result is a high enough standard for the company. And in time, you learn that it's high enough standard for yourself as well. So I would strongly encourage you to look into courses that have the placement year as an opportunity, because once you get paid for work placement and you do gain some valuable work experience, and it gives you some direction for when you graduate and your career path. And I haven't done a study placement, but a few of my friends did it. And they really enjoyed the different education system that they got to experience. They really enjoyed traveling around the country that they were based in. And because you were there for a short period of time, only 1 year, it seemed like all of the other exchange students that were there as well They just wanted to take the best of the experience, and everybody were happy. Everybody was happy to do all sorts of things. So they did a lot of traveling. They go and visit their places even now after they graduated, some of them. So study abroad is also a very attractive option. And I see that there are no questions for the time that I've spoken. Maybe I am clear enough. So thank you to everyone who joined. If you do want to go into a bit more detail privately on something that I've talked about, feel free to book an appointment with me. I've got available slots this coming week and the week after. So every day, almost every day, I'm free for at least 2 to 3 hours. I would really love to hear from you. Maybe some feedback as well on what you think Aston's key selling points are. So yeah, thank you very much for joining again, and I'll hopefully see you next week. Bye-bye.